These are 8 side hustles that I have done myself. They're not all that hard to do, and they've earned me anywhere from $20 to $500 per hour, so make sure you stick around. None of these are all that hard, and some of them are a little bit weird, but they actually work. The first one is acting. Now, I know this is probably not gonna be for everyone, but this is something that I've been doing for the last couple years. I had 0 experience doing any acting, and I've made up to $3,000 in a single day from doing that. Of course, I only work about a dozen times per year, so this is not a side hustle that takes a lot of time, but it's pretty simple to get started if you enjoy being in front of a camera. I didn't even realize I enjoyed it until I tried it a few times. Pretty much you can just Google acting agencies in your town or your state. You go into them, you might read a script, you apply, they take a look at you, they decide if they want to represent you or not. For me, before I did that, I actually watched like 30 videos on YouTube about like how to act. Then I went in, I applied, they represented me. You self-tape for different auditions, you send those in to people. If you don't end up getting represented, you can also send in self-tapes on a site like Backstage. And even if you just do background acting, it's an easy 500 bucks a day. It's a lot of fun. It's honestly not all that hard if it's something you enjoy doing. Well, probably for most people, this won't become your full-time thing. If you do kind of like what I do, you do like 1 or 2 jobs a month, and generally I make a minimum of $1,000 to a couple $1,000s per day doing stuff like commercials, then it's a pretty easy way to earn an extra $5,000 to $10,000 per year. The next one is making shirts. So while I have not done this personally, this is actually my brother's side hustle that turned into their main stream of income right now. And you can do this a couple different ways. There are simple, cheap courses or YouTube videos, depending on which path you choose to go. Most people talk about doing something like Printful, or you're more or less drop shipping shirts, but they did something a little bit different where they used some connections that they did have, picked out some shirts, went to a local place that prints shirts, and then actually created some designs, and then went to some stores and were able to place their products in some smaller stores, things like candy shops, and then obviously also doing online. And as things sell, they split the profits with those stores, or they make obviously more profit online. But if you decide to go the online route, things like Etsy, then you're gonna probably have to do some type of marketing. So it really depends on what your skills are. But this is something that if you can get it up and running, it can be pretty hands off, but you just need to have some design skills, or even just hire somebody on Fiverr to make some designs for you, as long as they're actually quality designs. YouTube. So before we get into some of the weirder ones, obviously YouTube started as a side hustle for me, and it's turned into a lot more. It's something that a ton of people want to do right now, and I think very few people actually succeed in it because they quit. The cool thing about YouTube is you can get started with just a couple $100s. You can start with your phone and maybe just invest in like an $80 Rode mic Go. Just start making content, edit it on your laptop. It doesn't have to be crazy. You could also just do social media. I know this is kind of like a very popular one, but I've seen so many different people that I've run into that just kept making content. They didn't give up, they didn't quit, they kept getting better, and just watching videos on how to get better at editing and storytelling and everything else. And it just takes time and just really being okay with sucking for like a year or two and not making any money. And then after that, it can be extremely rewarding. You can make a lot of money, and it takes very little upfront cost. Start a cleaning company. All right, so I started cleaning when I was like 11. My dad actually started a cleaning company, which turned into $1 million business. It started with just our family, and now he employs like 60 or 70 people, but you don't have to go that extreme with it. Something that I would probably do if YouTube fails is actually start a cleaning business. You just need like a vacuum and a sponge. Honestly, not all that much stuff, bottle of Windex. And you can either make flyers, go door to door, post on social medias, ask friends and family. A lot of people are actually hiring cleaners nowadays, especially in nicer neighborhoods. You can just go to door in other neighborhoods. And if you can just get one house, do a really good job for them, you get a lot of referrals that way. And generally you can charge anywhere from $30 to $50 per hour to clean a house. And it takes, like I said, very little upfront money. If you do a couple houses per day that are like $100 to $200 houses, you can make an easy $200 to $500 per day doing this. You can also work with vacation rental companies. They have an insane amount of turnover, and they have higher budgets for cleaning, or working with Airbnb owners. And that can be a very lucrative side hustle, or even full-time job that doesn't take like any upfront money.
Drop shipping. But this is a little bit different. Drop shipping is something that I've been thinking about doing for a long time, and recently I've actually taken the step and I'm starting it. So I'll give you an update in a couple months on how it is actually going. For those of you who don't know what drop shipping is, it's a business model where you sell products online, but you don't actually keep any physical inventory. Instead, you work directly with suppliers. Why I like this as a side hustle, as you'll see, it costs very little upfront money. There aren't any huge investments, and one of my favorite ones is you can do it from a laptop, so you don't have to be anywhere physically. To get started with dropshipping, you'll need to choose a platform to open a website. For me, I chose Shopify because you can get started for just $1 for the first 3 months. Then I also chose AutoDS, who is also the sponsor of this video, to be my supplier. Now, AutoDS can help you fulfill all your orders. They can help you conduct market research, import products from a bunch of different retailers and suppliers, and that helps you keep your whole business automated. For me, I just set up this Shopify store, which was super simple to do, then signed up for AutoDS, and then I looked for some products in my niche that I thought would do really well, that I really enjoyed. I looked through their winning products and found these. For me, I really liked this journal, so I think that's something I can get behind. And then also these olive oil sprayers, just because I hate buying actual sprayers and I think this is a really good product. So I just added them to my store with a couple clicks, very simple to do. You can research a ton of different products from different suppliers.
It can help you upload products in just seconds,
and even take a free course on how to market on Facebook or Shopify or Amazon. And they also take care of all the order fulfillment, so you don't have to do that. If you want to get started, they have a full Shopify course, and you can get a 30-day free trial with the link down in the description.
Upscaling. In America, there are an average of 165,000 garage sales every week. This is something that me and my brother used to do an insane amount of. We could do it with cars, furniture, tools, a bunch of random stuff. And it's pretty much you go to garage sales, you look on Craigslist for free stuff or good priced stuff, you buy it and you just resell it for a profit. It seems really simple, but honestly, I think it's one of the best ways to make money quickly, starting with very little money. Things like ladders, if you can get a ladder at a garage sale for 20 bucks, you can easily sell that for $100, $150. Same thing with a lot of power tools, just different stuff that people don't care. They just want it out of their house. You can take advantage of that and go ahead and make money on that, especially when people are moving. They just want stuff gone, and you can make hundreds of dollars from somebody moving. Airbnbs. This was part of what let me leave my job. I had a house hack that I had bought, which was a triplex. I lived in one unit, rented the other ones out. And then one of those units, I rented out all 4 bedrooms individually on Airbnb. In one unit, I had 4 different bedrooms going, and that paid for my mortgage, taxes, insurance, and made me a couple $1,000s per month. But if you can't buy a property, you can rent something that might have 4 bedrooms, as long as you talk to the landlord ahead of time, and you can live in one bedroom. You can rent the other 3 out, and generally that will allow you to live there for free, plus make some money. Or if you do have a house and it has a spare room, or you can kind of separate one room, it can be a great way to make anywhere from $800 to $1,500, a couple $1,000s per month, depending on how big the space is that you're renting out. You have to clean when people leave, or you can hire a cleaner. Goes along with the other point. But this is one of the most passive things you can do to earn a really good amount of money. Obviously, it depends on your location, but it's a really cool thing to take advantage of. Rent it out. So if you don't want to go the Airbnb route, but maybe you own a home, you can rent out other things. You can rent out your garage. I do that at one of my properties. I make about $120 per month for this garage that I don't do anything with. I've never seen the person who rents it from me. He just sends me money to keep his car in there. If you have a yard, people need places to store boats or cars, so you could have them on your property. Pretty much you get paid every month just to have this thing that you have to look at. Like, it's extremely passive. You could also rent out sections of your basement, sections of your garage, or build a storage unit and rent that out to people. Storage is a huge thing that most people need right now, and it can be a great way to make probably not like a massive amount of income, but anywhere from $50 to a couple $100s per month, simply by not using part of your space and renting that to somebody else who might come a couple times a year to get stuff and move stuff in or whatever. You can even do this with your car on things like Turo, where if you have an extra car that's in good condition, or you have a car that you don't use all that often, you can rent it out on Turo, make some money. All you need to do is facilitate the person getting it. This is actually what I might do when I get a Tesla once I reach 500,000 subscribers, because if I can drive it a couple of weeks a month and then I can rent it a couple of weeks a month, it will pay for itself and I will pretty much have a free Tesla. So that's my list. Let me know what side hustles you use down in the comments. And if you want some free money, you can check out Webull with the link down in the description. Get up to 12 free stocks when you open and fund an account. As always, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week.